If you've been on social media, or heaven forbid, TikTok, in the past few months, you might have heard of a crazy character called 645 AR. This musician has built a name for himself with this eccentric, squeaky style of rapping, and he's been all over the internet this year. From his song Yoga being the backbone of the viral How's My Form challenge, to inspiring thousands of YouTube comments about mosquitoes, it's safe to say that AR has firmly planted himself in 2020's online culture. But what about the artist himself? Despite the immense success of both Yoga and previous track For The Trap, which is now sitting on almost 12 million views, there's been little serious discussion on AR as an actual musician rather than just a joke artist. And while it's still up in the air as to whether this whole thing is just an extended joke, the man's success is undeniable, and I think it merits talking about. So, in this video, I'm going to hopefully give you everything you need to know. His upbringing, his career, his style, some basic facts, as well as mark the highs and lows of one of 2020's strangest musical successes. Consider this your 645 AR 101. That sounded a lot better in my head. Let's just get stuck in here. We'll start from the top with a bit of early biography. Real name Austin Allen Rochez, the rapper we now know as 645 AR was raised in the Bronx, New York, home to hip-hop giants like Big Pun and Grandmaster Flash. Moving to Georgia in his early teens, AR attended high school in the city of Marietta and found a budding start in basketball for the school's team. This continued when he returned to the Bronx in his late teens when studying liberal arts, with him adopting the number 22 jersey while playing for his community college. With school out of the way, it was back in Atlanta that the rapper landed his start in music. Living with a friend and musician who uses the alias Jay with the Beam, 645 AR soon found himself in contact with figures like Lil Yachty, becoming gradually immersed in the music industry and all of its happenings. Eventually, his interest was suitably piqued, and he took to the mic himself. What most people don't know about this early stage of his career is that AR initially recorded in his natural voice, embodying a typical rap style before the so-called squeak ever came into the picture. These sessions produced early tracks like Who That and Workin, which eventually landed on the rapper's first mixtape, 96 Problems. This early material is very typical of the trap genre, featuring looping beats and eccentric lyricism, with AR's vocal delivery often compared to that of OJ the Juice Man. I've left some links in the description below for those of you who want to get a feel for these yourself. But of course, it was a completely different sound that brought AR to the eyes of the world. Pioneered a bit later in his career, the high-pitched vocal style that many have now coined squeaking started as simply just a studio experiment. In interviews, AR described the invention of the style as just playing around, but after a few sessions and some early demos, he found something he really liked about it. While his friends and collaborators were at first skeptical, a sentiment many current listeners still share, AR did prove his worth, pulling significant local attention with the single Crack. This, perhaps the first major milestone of the rapper's career, proved that he could find success with this new style and encouraged him to seek bigger and brighter things in the months to come. After dropping a video for the song, and a self-titled EP, AR continued to build on this brand new sound, swapping on a song-by-song basis between a more typical, lower-tone rap delivery and an alternative style. This so-called squeaking. Yet despite the local attention AR generated with the single Crack, it took a little longer to get the rapper's new style off the ground. When artists try doing something new or unique, it's often founded on a pre-existing fanbase, a group of supporters who are more willing to give you a new direction a chance. For recent examples, you only have to look to people like Tyler the Creator, who successfully moved from a heavy rap-focused career on Wolf, Cherry Bomb, Flower Boy, into Igor, a genre-mashing amalgamation with a very distinctly different ethos. By having a group of people invested in both your persona and your career, you're almost guaranteeing that people give your music a chance, no matter how different it would be from their own personal taste. For someone like AR, with minimal existing support, the road is a little bit more difficult. The approach here is more throw it at the wall and see what sticks, and though it took him a few tries, AR's music did soon find its sticking point. This is what I would argue as the second major milestone of his early career, and it came in the form of 2019's single, Bible and a K. With its, let's just say, provocative title, the track's simplistic, heavy bass production served as the perfect blank canvas, over which AR delivered the main event, his vocals. The style he employs here is a complete left turn from what any trap listener is accustomed to, delivering his verses in an eccentric, high-pitched, and now known as squeaking style, and yet still adopting the brag-centric, heavy lyricism typical to the genre. These are just a couple of the lines from Bible and a K, and you can clearly see what AR's going for here. This is the kind of braggadocio you'd find in most trap songs, and yet by changing his voice, AR completely subverts the machismo, aggression, and heaviness associated with this lyrical direction. And of course, as with anything new, the results were divisive. Exposed to the public at large for the first time, Bible and a K was widely dismissed as a clear parody, a one-shot attempt at a comedic style of rap. But as with the old saying, all press is good press, and the single continued to draw attention, especially on a national and even international level. Unfazed by the critique, no doubt partially due to the hundreds of thousands of views he was getting, AR kept on releasing. Soon to arrive was the collaborative mixtape Finessing the Industry and solo EP No Label, which both racked up some solid streaming numbers on SoundCloud. But despite the prominent online attention, AR's career was just getting started. His true rise to fame, at least I would argue, came at the hands of two essential singles, For the Trap and Yoga. Though seemingly not a huge leap from AR's other high-pitched material, For the Trap soon became the backbone of his career and his definitive musical statement to the world at large. Released in January of 2020, this single amplified the momentum of Bible and a K, rapidly amassing an audience of millions as it was shared online. Though most of this was simply on the sheer audacity and novelty of the style, the song did its job, bringing AR to the attention of millions for the first time. And where there's meme potential, social media is right there to capitalise. While For the Trap didn't have the TikTok relevancy of its follow-up, Yoga, its novelty still landed it some placement on various platforms, such as react channels here on YouTube, further expanding AR's reach and putting his style into both meme culture and hip-hop discussions. Quite a difficult line to tread, as artists like Ugly God have demonstrated. The second blow of this 1-2 punch and the fourth key moment of AR's career came just a few months later, when he dropped another key single in Yoga. Riding the wave of early year drive that AR had built, Yoga soon became the foundation of TikTok's controversial and often offensive How's My Form challenge. The gist here is simple. Start with a quote from TV show Stranger Things, don't ask me why, TikTok's a strange place, and a caption designed to get the attention of a particular group of people, be it religion, gender, social status, or any other real grouping. Then the bait and switch happens. Now that X group is here, how's my form? As the video maker acts out a particular stereotype associated with the group. While I'm not going to show any here because quite frankly they're often unfunny and just flat out nasty, the challenge's importance cannot be understated. From a social media trend, AR's name landed an immense platform, with attention from social media personalities as prominent as David Dobrik and KSI. The sales and streams, of course, were quick to follow. As with For the Trap, Yoga racked up some phenomenal streaming numbers, breaking 20 million plays across Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Music. This was only boosted further when AR dropped a psychedelic video for the song, featuring the Riley titled side character Flexo19. Though this video is more focused on a kind of objective summary of AR's career, I will just add that I think Yoga probably makes the best case for AR's style. The contrast between voice and content is not quite as jarring as tracks like For the Trap. The song has some solid production, and it features a plethora of what I would call really unique ad-libs. When combined with a crisper vocal mix and a less traditional song structure, it's a song that really plays to AR's strengths, and overall is probably the least, inverted commas, novel of AR's singles thus far. Which brings us to today. Since Yoga, AR has actually remained relatively quiet, though he's dropped a few loose tracks on his SoundCloud and saw minor success with the YouTube-only single Itchy Fingers. He's not quite had that fifth milestone to really push his career further. While it remains to be seen where exactly AR will go in the future, it's likely that it will continue to develop his style ahead of a full-length project. And there's some exciting things on the horizon, like the rumoured FKA Twigs collaboration. But if we were to put a full stop on AR's career right now, it would still represent a powerful anomaly. In a genre mediated by ideas of authenticity, status, and traditionally also masculine energy, AR has pushed at the boundaries of rap delivery and what it means to be a hip-hop artist overall. Though dismissed as a parody, a quality that's still not fully verifiable, his presence raises a ton of important questions for the industry, like why is it that we deem AR a parody when we've seen artists like Playboi Carti and Young Thug do similar things? And where can a musician like AR fit within the rap landscape, if at all? And perhaps most importantly, does AR's success hold any bearing on the future of the genre? Sadly, these are questions for another day. If you'd like me to go a little bit deeper into this, kind of have a poke through and use some industry examples, please let me know in the comments below and I'll try and come up with something. I've got a couple of ideas already, but you know, it's a work in progress. If you're still watching, thank you ever so much for getting through what is the first video on this channel. In terms of direction and things, I'm just freeballing it. I've got no real lofty ambitions here. I actually just made this channel out of the interest of kind of trying to make music a bit more accessible to the average person, trying to kind of get people interested in music, get people talking about music, foster an interest in general, but also to still offer a lot of content for people who are looking at things in a more in-depth way and who are trying to kind of engage with stuff in a more complex or nuanced way. I also think it's a really great idea to just kind of shine a light on artists and scenes that really deserve attention, and I think that AR doesn't really have that. He's not really had many interviews, he's not really had any kind of press junkets. There's been a couple of interviews every now and then, but really it's a scene that I don't think gets any attention, and it's important to acknowledge these kind of things simply as milestones in the music industry. So that's essentially what we've done here, what we're doing here. If you like it, if you're kind of running with the idea, please drop me a comment below and say what you're thinking. Likewise, if you just want to trash on me, if you want to hate on me, please go ahead, I'd love to read them. Thank you ever so much for watching. Have a fantastic week, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Who knows, this video might never reach anybody. So have a great week. This is Moose Music, signing out.